Hey guys, welcome to the NRL recap. That was round 3. Let's get into it. There was some high scoring in this round. First game was the beginning of a few upsets. So you had the Broncos at home up against the St. George Illawarra Dragons, who have lost 2 in a row, and the Dragons have won 1 out of those games. Now this was a win for the Dragons, 25-24. This was so unexpected. Corey Norman kicked a field goal 40 metres out, but I've got to say the Dragons really turned up. I think I'd said a couple teams that weren't the favourite would turn up. You've got tries to Cameron McGuinness, Jordan Pereira, Mikali Ravalawa. He's a really good player. I'd be watching out for him. And obviously Corbin Sims against his old club, getting that revenge. Corey Oates, leading try scorer at the moment. I put that bet on at the start of the year for you all, and hopefully he got on board and the Broncos can do some big thing. But Gareth Widdop, that's a big loss for the Dragons, and we'll have to see how they go into this week without him. He would possibly be out for 6 weeks, I've heard. The second game was the Canberra Raiders up against the Knights. This was the first one of the round that I got right. The Canberra Raiders winning 17-16 with a field goal from Sam Williams in the 76th minute. It was 16-10. This game was really slow. I'm not saying it was boring to watch, but I just felt slow. The Knights combination is not working. You need to put Kalen Ponga back where he belongs at fullback. He's not making those tackles at 5'8", which is what is losing the Knights games in my opinion. Shans Nickel Clockstead, I don't know if I pronounced that right. He's a player to watch out for. I wish he was in my Supercoach team, and the Raiders are a big threat with players like this. And Jared Croker obviously kicking most of his goals as well, 17-10. The third game was the Friday night I was looking forward to. I think I'd call it my game of the round, even though it's a loss for us. The Parramatta Eels up against the Sydney Roosters. Sydney Roosters being reigning premiers against Wooden Spooners last year had a lot. Now, the scoreline of this game does not reflect it. The score was 32-18 to the Roosters. We led them in the 65th minute. Their last 10 minutes of defence really switched off, and that's where these points came from. This should have been a 2 to 4 point ball game, but James Tedesco really clicked, found his form, scoring a double. Maiko Sivo also scored a double. He's a player to watch out for. Could he be our next semi? He doesn't want to be compared to it, but he's playing like it. He has to keep it up. Mitchell Moses got all his goals, which was really good to see. And Parramatta are obviously looking in good form, but they really need to work on the goal line defence against Cronulla this week. Next up, starting Super Saturday, we had Manly at Christchurch, who I picked by 2. I said this game would go to Golden Point. However, it was the Manly Sea Eagles over some inconsistent Warriors, 46-12. Tom Travojevic made a difference in the side. 2 tries. Daly Cherry Evans, 2 tries. Yeah, not much to say here. I didn't expect Manly to upset by this much, which now puts them up to 8th, I think, on the ladder. But good on Manly for getting this win. They deserved. They played really well. I was in the movies at the time, but I did watch as much as I could of this game and the highlight. I watched the first maybe 17 minutes, so enough to get an understanding where Manly were leading 10-0. But yeah, well, Manly, who knew? After being down 10-6 at half-time, the Cronulla Sharks, after drop balls all the first half, came back and beat the Cowboys 42-16. Am I worried this weekend that Parramatta's playing the Sharks? I'll talk about that, but not necessarily. So you had a double to, was it Josh Dugan? No, there was one to Josh Dugan, double to Josh Morris. Chad Townsend really stepped up in this game. I had Matt Moylan as my try scorer, and unfortunately he's injured, and I've heard he's missing 6 weeks. We'll hear more about that tomorrow on NRL team. Sean Johnson converted all 7 goals from all 7 tries. Jordan Kahu converted 2. There's not much to say about the Cowboys. After that reshuffle, they're really not looking good, and I think they're going to struggle. I did put them low, but I'd like to see them winning some games after the year they had last year, and yeah, Cowboys just need some oomph about them. The last game of Super Saturday was Panthers at Bathurst against the Storm. I said the Storm would win this by 16. They put double on them. They couldn't get a try in. Cameron Munster try. Brody Croft got me some money there in a nice little multi. Jesse Bromwich was picked by BetEasy's try of the week at $5.50. But Melbourne Storm just dominated, showed all class, such a threat, and it made me put a couple dollars on them as grand final winners. Penrith, you really need, I don't know what's wrong with the side at the moment, it's so inconsistent. Next up we had what people would call the upset of the round. I did explain last week that the Bulldogs have won more of the games against the West Tigers than West Tigers have against the Bulldogs. The Dogs really came out, and I believe it was 18-0 at half time. I was in Sydney, but the Dogs, man, 28-8 at Campbelltown, such an upset. Luke Garner, Mahe Fanua tries for the West Tigers. Remus Smith, Kieran Foran I think he's injured actually, I heard. We'll have to wait and see. Dylan Napa, he scored a try last week for the Bulldogs, and it's the first time in 2 years he scored a try. And Reece Martin back in the side, getting those 3 out of 4 conversions. Reece Martin is my player to watch this year, even though I don't think the Dogs, I picked him to do well, but I can't see them doing that well. Reece Martin's going to score some tries, kick some points. We're going to see what he's going to do. The West Tigers face Penrith next week, and it's so hard to pick a winner. The last game saw the Rabbitohs against the Titans. Now, at 13 plus was $1.50 as the betting. At 1 to 12 was at $3.50, and I knew this game was going to be 1 to 12. It's always close between the Rabbits and the Titans, a good match. The Titans were really catching up to at one point, but the Rabbitohs claimed it here 28 points to 20. A double to Campbell Graham, Corey Allen, a young gun, scoring a try. Ethan Lowe, a former Cowboy. Adam Reynolds, 3 out of 4 conversions. Anthony Don scoring a try for the Gold Coast Titans. Dale Copley. But Michael Gordon, man, 2 out of 4 kicks. He's just, I don't know if I'd call him the worst kicker in the NRL, but he just doesn't seem to be kicking those goals. And there's nothing to be excited about the Titans. I mean, coming off this year, you think they're due for a win, but if they can catch up to a side that good, I don't know what to say about them. They're a side to watch out for this year. But that was round 3. I'll be posting my predictions tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time.